Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. This is going to be a fairly short webinar today. We're going to try to keep it right around 30 minutes. Couple things, it is beyond book signing, so increase your book sales from home. Want to give you a few new ideas today, hopefully get your brain working a little bit to see what else you may be able to do that's thinking outside the box. So typically if you're going to be working with a publisher, whether it's self-publishing, vanity press, whatever it is you may be doing, a lot of focus is going to be on book signings. And a lot of authors get wore out on book signings, having to buy books, do all of that. And so they're looking for other ways to increase their sales. So we're going to go over a few ways to make that happen today. And this is by no means an exhaustive list. There are so many different ways, but my hope is that what you will take away are a couple things you can implement right away, as well as just get your brain working a little bit, thinking about what else you may be able to do to help get those sales increasing. So a couple things right from the gate here to make this as useful for you as possible. At first, you're going to want to silence your cell phones, put them aside so you're not interrupted. Close your other browser windows. That will make your experience here a lot better. Turn off your TV. I know if you're sitting at home, it's really tempting to leave that TV on, but you want to limit your distractions. I do want to let you guys know, just to be fair, I am broadcasting from home. We are having some crazy wind today, and it is wreaking a little bit of havoc with our internet connection. So there may be a little bit of a delay between you hearing my voice and the slide advancement through the presentation here. So if you're seeing that, just know that there are some technical things going on just with our weather here today. I've enabled the chat box. If you have questions throughout, go ahead and type your questions in. I will wait until the end to answer them. If you are unable to stay through the end, I will do my best to email out answers to anybody that has put up a question as well, to make sure that your questions do get answered. A lot of people ask me why I do what I do. So really, it's about my family. I worked for a publishing company for a few years in the acquisitions department, and my job there was to review manuscripts and decide whether or not we wanted to take that author on for publishing. It was eye-opening. I loved everything I was learning about the industry. I loved the relationships that I built with the authors, and several of them would come back to me and ask what to do to either improve their writing or market their books, increase their sales. We had a marketing division, but I built such a rapport with my authors that we usually came back together, and they would want to seek out more help. And that wasn't really what I was paid to do at the publishing company. And so in speaking with my husband, we decided that it would be in our best interest for me to go ahead and branch out on my own and start this company where I can help authors in all facets of their journey. So writing, deciding how to publish, helping them move forward with that process, as well as marketing their books. So now it enables me to be home with my family more. I'm home with my kids in the afternoons when they're out of school. We've been able to get them out of daycare. It's just been a really good experience, and I am much more fulfilled being able to help authors go ahead and become more successful in all areas of their journey. So I help authors to not only finish their writing, but to become successful and confident. And here you will see just a handful of the people that I have worked with, whether in the past or present, and helping them to write, publish, market. I've helped them all throughout different steps and stages of their journey. And this is what has really made me feel good about what I'm doing, and why I do what I do to help you here. I will ask that you stay until the end. I have one promise for you today, and that promise is that I am not here to sell you anything. This is not a webinar where you're going to get some good stuff and then I'm going to ask you to open up your checkbook or give me your credit card at the end. What I will give you, however, are some ways to connect afterward and the opportunity to get a very helpful tool so that you can actually get started on some additional marketing today. So stay until the end so we can make sure that you get that information. So what is Beyond Book Signings? I kind of touched on this in the beginning, but it's a way that you can increase your sales from home. And so what we'll cover is social media, and it is more than just Facebook, although Facebook is phenomenal and can be used to really boost your sales. Social media is more than just Facebook. We're going to talk about leveraging current events and trends, how to connect with others to increase your reach, and how you can give back in order to grow your sales. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started. So social media, we'll go ahead and start with some basics and the importance of how you name and niche your page and setting it up and designing it. I understand this may be very elementary for a few of you, but I also know that there's some who maybe they've never set up a Facebook page. So I do want to touch on this just so you can see how easy it actually is. So where should you be? There are so many options in social media. How do you know which are right for you? Many people jump straight to Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest. Those are very common. One of my favorites that are very much overlooked by a lot of people is LinkedIn. You can connect with so many people on LinkedIn. It's a different format, it's a different platform, and you may get different things from it. You may not necessarily have book sales directly from LinkedIn, but you're going to connect with people who can help you in your journey. You may find people who would need you to come speak. They may understand your niche and be able to help you partner with others that can help you. Also, connecting with people that can help you in different steps along your way. Maybe there's a fantastic graphic designer that can help you with your cover. So it's people like that that LinkedIn is very underutilized, and I would definitely recommend that you hop in there. Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, those are all fantastic as well. It's knowing where your audience is. So you want to know where your audience is at, and that's where you need to be. As far as naming, this is going to be focusing more on your Facebook page. So not your personal page, but an author page. Naming it is so important. There's the Shakespeare quote there, "A rose by any other name would smell as sweet," unless you're talking about social media. You want to be unique, searchable, intriguing, and identifying. And when you put all of those into naming your page, you're going to see a lot more success. A few examples of how to name your page could simply be your name, comma, author. I see a lot of that. The book title. I see a lot of people name their page by their book title. This is fine if you're only doing one book. If you plan on writing multiple books, I would stay away from naming your page after your book. The reason for that is if you write again, you're going to be creating a page for every book that you publish. And you can only imagine how overwhelming that's going to be when suddenly you have 5 books out there and you're having to manage each one of those pages to try to bring in traffic to find people to buy your book. Now, if you only have one book, that's fine. You can market it that way. It'll work fantastic. Using your genre and your niche can work as well. If you are focusing, say, on bullying, I tend to always drift towards children's books. But if that is what your book is about, naming your page around that idea can work very well also. It becomes searchable. For the most part, though, using your name and author is going to be the best way. Here are a couple that I have seen for examples. You'll see there's JCB Adventure. Now that one is about a book. It's a fantastic book. I happen to know and own this book. And this Facebook page is set up just for the book. And it works out very well. And that's the only book that this author has out at this time. So that worked out well. There's another, she has went ahead and branded her page after all that she does. And so it's not just about her book, but it's also about her and what she does. She's a speaker, she's an author, everything she has going on, it's right there. And then you have an example of someone who has named their page with their name and author. This author happens to write children's books and has a book that is also available for adults. And so she wanted to make sure that she was seen as an author and not just putting out a book. So these are just a couple things. You see how colorful they are, how vibrant they are, they're eye-catching, they're appealing. You want to keep all of that in mind. Moving on to leveraging current events and trends, we're going to talk a little bit about staying relevant and building your brand and the importance involved there. So are you in the now and the know? And what I'm talking about here are current events. What is happening around the world that you could use to enhance your marketing? So how could you use the events of today to enhance your marketing? We'll go back to children's books, using the presidential debates. You think about all the mudslinging that goes on there, all of the bashing and the hateful talk. If you have written a children's book on bullying, do you think you could bring in the presidential debates as how not to behave and what bullying looks like? So there's a way to use the current events of today in your marketing, no matter what type of book you have written. And when you're thinking about events, think local, what's actually happening in your community. Think national, what's happening here in our country, and you can think global. And when you bring those in and you start doing Facebook marketing or marketing on Twitter, and you start using your headlines to bring in local events, you're going to catch the eye of people that may otherwise pass you by. And I guarantee you that this will help you stand out and make you more unique. Authors are typically just talking about their books and their characters, and everybody's used to seeing that. You start putting stuff out about what's happening today around you, and you're going to catch people's eyes, and they're going to want to know more about what you're talking about. So here are those examples I was talking about here, using presidential debates as a prime example, just because that's happening right now. It's relevant. It's in front of everybody. Everybody's heard about it. People joke about it. It's a good thing to use. You can keep it light and funny. You can make it serious. Whatever you feel would appeal more to your audience. And of course, going locally, nationally, and globally. And then when you brand yourself, what makes you unique? What's going to make you stand out? You say you're a children's book author, or you write books on business growth, or whatever your book may be about. You're not the only one who has written that type of book. So what makes you stand out? How do you present yourself? What are you writing? What are you trying to accomplish? And why are you doing those things? When you start to answer those questions and you do so with sincerity, you're going to be able to more precisely create your brand. And that's how you want to put yourself out there. So when people are looking for a certain book, they know why they should choose you over the book that's right next to yours. Connecting with purpose. This is going to be about how to connect with other authors, interviews, why following and guest blogging, why that's all so important. And so with social media, you want to follow to get followers. And why that works for you, there's several reasons. So you follow on social media, you get more followers. Some of that may seem pretty common sense. You follow someone, they follow you back. But it really goes beyond that. When you start sharing and tagging and posting and other people start liking, all of a sudden your reach becomes exponential. You want to make sure that you are following people who have the same audience as you do. That is going to help bring more people to you. It's going to help your posts become shared more often, which is, of course, going to give you more reach. More people are going to see who you are, and you're going to, in effect, end up with more potential book sales this way. If you're looking to speak, if you're looking, whatever it is you're wanting to do with your book and with yourself as an author, the more people that you can follow who fit into your target audience or have the same target audience, the greater growth that you're going to see. Interviews, so show and tell time. This can be done from home as well. Of course, some of it may be in person, but most of it can be done from home, television probably being the only exception there. So scheduling interviews is by reaching out to your local media. That is where I would recommend that you start if you haven't already. Local radio stations, local television stations, newspaper, doing podcasts. If you record your own podcasts and you start publicizing those, you're going to have people that start listening to what you have to say. These are fantastic ways to share your story. It may not be just your book, but again, that brand, how, where, what, why, all of that, and being able to really get your message out there, media and doing interviews is huge. I know a lot of authors tend to be a little bit more behind the scenes type people. Not everybody, of course, but that is something that I hear a lot of. And being able to do a lot of this from behind the scenes can be a fantastic way to market yourself and your book without having to be front and center. And then the power of guests. So with blogging, if you're not already blogging, I highly recommend that is something that you start doing. You can go for free. WordPress.com is an easy way. There's a ton of them, a ton of ways to blog out there. Find a way to get started if you haven't already. And if you have questions about that, let me know and I will help you get started. What you will do is then you invite others to blog on your web page for blogging. What happens by that is everybody who already follows them are now invited to your website, and you build credibility by being connected with the person that you have invited to guest blog for you. On the flip side of that, if you are to guest blog, then you are now on the other person's website, and everybody that follows them and normally sees their blog is now going to see what you have written. And it becomes a huge way to get noticed. I have one author that I have worked with who ended up being recognized by the Today Show by blogging and guest blogging. There's a lot of ways to be noticed and recognized by doing this. And again, if you haven't started, if you don't know how to start, definitely reach out to me and I can help you get started with blogging and guest blogging. Giving back to grow. This has proven to be huge. So working with nonprofits, there are two ways to make this work for you. First, you sell the books and then donate to a cause. So in your marketing, you let your fans, your public know that for every book sold in a specific period of time, you will donate a percentage of your sales or a percentage of your profits to the specific nonprofit. So I'm not promoting this at all, but say it was the United Way. So you could simply say all books purchased in the month of April, a percentage of the profits will be donated to United Way. Then you can market to people who you find that support the United Way. Suddenly they're wanting to buy your book because now they get a book and they get to make a donation all at the same time. Of course, this means that you're doing the work, but then you're also giving the money. The other way to go is to partner with a nonprofit and allow them to sell your books for you. And then you, again, donate a percentage of the sales. So this is going to operate a lot more like a fundraiser. So the nonprofit has the books, they promote it, they sell it, and in exchange for that, you're going to give a percentage of the profits back to them. You can set this up to where they actually have the books and physically sell them, think kind of like Girl Scout cookies, or you can do everything online and just have a link that is set specifically for them to help you track what books are sold by them. There is a little bit more bookkeeping involved here and a little bit more effort on your part just on the back end to make sure that everything is counted right and the right amount of money is given back. However, they're working hard to get those donations from you. So they are going to work hard to sell your book. Working with nonprofits can be a huge help for you. It's going to help you feel good. It's going to help you give back to those who matter most to you. And it's going to help the community feel good for knowing that they're not only purchasing a book, but they're helping out something that they care about as well. I would definitely recommend leveraging nonprofits. So those are just a few things that you can do to start increasing your book sales right away. So what now? We've gone through all of that. So take the next step. What you can do is send me an email. I have my email address up on the side. It's shannon@clcforauthors.com. In the subject line, type book it, and you can schedule a free 30-minute consultation with me. During that consultation, we are going to discuss what matters to you. So we can talk about everything we went over today, or if you're just starting to write, we can talk about where you're stuck at writing, what your goals are, what your struggles are, and develop some solutions for you moving forward. The 30-minute call is free to you, and it's yours. So we will be discussing what matters to you. Again, you'll want to email me at shannon@clcforauthors.com. I really appreciate you giving me your time today, so I do want to give back to you as well. And just for you, for giving me your time and sharing this time with me, as long as you email me by midnight tonight, should you decide that you want to have any services provided by me after your call, I'll do a 50% discount on that for you. And just for booking the call, I'm going to send you a press release template. This is what I was talking about in the beginning, that if you stayed till the end, you would have a tool to help you get started right away. This press release template is going to be something I will send to you. You just need to fill in the blanks. So just tailor it for yourself, fill in the blanks, and start sending it out. You'll want to send it to your local media, and what you'll be doing is seeking interviews. And so all of the work is already done for you, and this is just for scheduling your call with me. A couple testimonials from two of my clients that I've worked with. And this is just to show you that, I really do enjoy helping authors. I do look to work with the path that you're on. Like Ashley stated, she's not a limelight kind of person. We talked about that, and that I sidestepped my original plan for marketing and went ahead, and that's when we developed the nonprofit plan. So she is able to do give back without feeling like she's being boastful about her book, and that simply makes her feel better. Suzanne, we did a lot of goal setting, a lot of accountability, and she is quickly realizing her dreams that she thought were way too far out of her reach. So we've done a lot of work together as well. So if you do have any questions, you can email me your questions. You can type it in the chat box. If you email me again at shannon@clcforauthors.com. If you want to take advantage of that free 30-minute call, go ahead and put book it in the subject line, and I will get back with you to get that time slot scheduled. It can be during a lunch hour. It can be after working hours on a weekend. We'll make sure that it gets worked out so that you can actually be on the call and have it work around your schedule. I again thank you all for being on this class today. And if there's anything else that I can do to help you, please feel free to reach out. I do have an exclusive Facebook group that you are all welcome to join. It is From Brainstorming to Book Sales. Go ahead and look that up on Facebook and send a join request, and I'll be happy to add you for lots of valuable content and information and sharing, accountability, just some help to keep everybody supported and know that you're not on this journey alone. So again, I thank you, and I look forward to helping you soon. Have a great day.